Kevin, just what are your initial thoughts on facing the Red Sox team you went 11-8 against? You had that big comeback, the Labor Day comeback, and some other pretty interesting games.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth. They've made some improvements and some adjustments to their roster, certainly from the deadline, getting Davis and obviously Kyle Schwarber. And then, you look at a guy like Tanner Houck that is back, pitching in different roles, whether it's starter or reliever. He's pretty tough. And Brazier is a guy they've leaned on in their bullpen pretty heavily. Their bullpen, it appears, has shifted a little bit. Rightfully so, because it seems like they're all talented whenever they're called upon.
I assume is always a challenge.
Yeah, that is pretty consistent anytime you face the Boston Red Sox. When you're talking about Bogarts, Devers, and JD, not sure what his status is, but the year that Hunter Renfroe has had, the addition of Kike Hernandez, Schwarber being in, I mean, they got a young guy in Dahlbeck that's kind of hovers in the back of their lineup, but just has hit a bunch of home runs, so we're going to have to pitch him very well.
Hazel?
Kevin, outside of his obvious talent, what about Shane's makeup gives you confidence that he can withstand and navigate the pressures of being a Game 1 starter?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, the best that we can go back on are a couple of his high-intensity starts this year. We threw him into the fire last year in the postseason when he had never pitched a regular season game. At the time, it didn't feel that great, but maybe that's helping him now. And then Sunday night baseball here against the Red Sox, he performed very, very well. And then watching him navigate through his outings, certainly specific ones where there was some adversity, seeing him get through the inning and bounce back and kind of hit the reset button and find ways to get deep in ball games. I mean, it felt like Shane always had pitches left that he could have gone for an extra inning. By design, we chose not to do that, but his pitch efficiency was really good. I think over his 25 starts, whatever it is, he continues to learn things about himself and learn about the situation that's presented to him.
Over to Adam.
Kevin, very similar question just about Wander. What makes you confident that he is comfortable and ready for this stage at the age that he is?
Well, talent-wise, he might be the best player on the field. His talent is pretty undisputable. He can beat you so many ways. What we've seen of Wander from day one, he lit this place up with a big 3-run homer, kind of went quiet for a couple weeks, quiet by the standard that was supposed to be set by him, and then he's taken off. So he handles things remarkably well. We marvel at what he does on a daily basis, and as much as as anybody, and there's a lot of guys that really enjoy the bright lights. Wander seems to appreciate it really, really well.
In the middle, in the back, John Morosi.
Kevin, John Morosi, MLB Network, congratulations on the division title.
Thanks,
Wanted to ask you, going back to 2007, there certainly were some games where you were behind the plate for the Red Sox and Alex was starting on the infield. I know you've certainly managed against him many times, but can you share some stories about Alex Cora, the teammate?
Oh, he was a great teammate. It was special to be a part of that group. Obviously, there was a superstar caliber team in 07 and 08. Came up a little short here against the Rays. Wouldn't mind seeing that happen again at this point. But as far as Alex is concerned, just very informed, very intelligent, baseball intelligent, people smart. There was a group of us with Alex, Mike Lowell, Sean Casey, and I tried to just be a sponge and learn as much as possible from, umpteen years of knowledge. And we can all appreciate how their careers have taken on. Some are doing media, and some are managing. Alex has done a really good job.
Go in the middle here.
A few minutes ago, Kiermaier was talking about the influence that Nelson Cruz has had, not only on the field, obviously, but in the clubhouse, especially with the younger guys. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, I can speak a lot to that. I mean, you hear all this stuff about Nelson in a different uniform. Met him a couple times at All-Star games or even in spring trainings. His presence and the way that he carries himself on the field we all see, but it's in the clubhouse, the little interactions that he has, the subtle interactions. He's not been a guy that has kind of stood up in the room at all this year and really spoke. He's come in and just been a really good teammate. He's been a really big support for all of our players, for our staff, for myself. Talking to Rocco when we acquired him, Rocco said, he's going to do a lot of things that you don't even realize he's doing. And I think that has been very fair for the 2.5 months he's been here. But there's no secret. His addition at the deadline and obviously Wander coming about the same time has certainly helped our team become better.
Couple more for Kevin Topper.
Kevin, two other things. Just what do you anticipate the benefit of the crowd to be, assuming it's somewhat similar to like those Astros games in 2019 for the next couple nights?
Well, hopefully it's a huge benefit. We've talked about repeatedly all year long that we just missed fans. You can create a lot of energy through a team pulling for you, and on the flip side, when we go into Boston, a team that's not really pulling for you, booing you. Players appreciate that, and I know our fans. I'm confident our fans are going to show up. Those 2 games in 2019, it's as loud as I've heard. The relay play, the KK3 run homer, just big special moments that really can energize a team, and looking forward to that starting tomorrow night.
Gotcha. And then just as far as Nick and Whistler yesterday, how did they come through that, and does that clarify their statuses at all?
Nothing has been clarified. They both came through it fine. There's still discussions to be had. I'm sure we're going to go out and work out here at 3 o'clock, probably be on the field for an hour and a half, and then we'll go back and see how everybody is. I spoke to Matt this morning, to see how he felt, and he said he felt pretty good, so encouraged by that.
One more in the back, John Morosi.
Yeah, and Kevin, when you think about just putting the lineup together every day and maybe comparing how your lineup was put together last year in the postseason, of course, you didn't have Wander last year, you didn't have Cruz last year, and you have better versions of guys like Zunino and Meadows. In what way, as a manager, do you feel like you have maybe greater depth now than you did a year ago?
Well, Wander and Nelson, no doubt, but you look at Austin, Yandy, and G-Man. Going into the postseason, none of them had established themselves. They were all coming back from some sort of injury, and there were a lot of question marks. These guys have had now consistent reps. They've pretty much stayed healthy, and I do think whichever way we go, the options that are going to be available on the bench to impact us will be greater than maybe what they were last year, just because of the lack of reps that those 3 in particular had.
Shane, obviously something you've talked about for the last couple of days, but now that you're a day away, how excited are you, and is there a way for you to know if you're ready for this?
Yeah, I'm really excited. This is what we've been working for all year, to be honest with you. So this is where baseball gets fun, and I know we're all ready, including myself.
Hi, Shane. John Morosi, MLB Network. Do you have recollections of watching the Rays in the playoffs as a kid growing up here in Florida?
Oh, this is a loaded question, to be honest with you, because I was an Orioles fan growing up. So I remember 2008. That was an incredible season for the Rays. I still remember Aki Mora, Iwamura, I think his name was, I believe. The final out at second base, him jumping around, and that stuck with me. I was like, man, baseball's pretty cool when you look at it like that.
Adam.
Hey, Shane, just to be a Game 1 starter, there's a certain cachet that comes with that. What does that honor kind of mean to you?
I think it's pretty cool, to be honest with you. I mean, considering I didn't break with the team out of camp, so I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a testament to the hard work and the effort I've put in, and this entire team's put in this year.
Neil.
Hey, Shane, what have you learned in the first 3 starts that you've had against Boston, and how much does that experience, do you think, help you going into the ALDS tomorrow?
I've learned they're a very good team. Obviously, they're in the situation that they're in because they're a good team. They're a selective team, but they're aggressive when they need to be. So, you definitely learn a lot about a team the more you face them, and at the end of the day, they learn more about you. So, I'm excited to go out there tomorrow and honestly, kind of work on everything I've learned from my first 3 against them.
JP.
Thanks. Shane, can you speak to the experience of going to college and playing college baseball, but of course missing that time due to injury? How did you bounce back from that, and what did that year teach you about yourself?
Yeah, it was hard. I'll be honest with you. I take pride in being healthy and putting in the work to prevent injuries, and that year was a step back for me. I feel like I learned a lot that I really like baseball. I love competing. I love winning, and it was hard to be a spectator for an entire year watching the guys you go to work with every day go out there and you can't do anything about it. So that stuck with me. It made me want to work harder and ultimately become a better player. So when I can do my job, I can help put this team in the best position to win.
Shane, a couple years ago, before your time here, the playoffs were here, and it was an electric atmosphere.
Oh, I was here. Yeah, okay. I was in the stands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, what do you expect on Thursday coming out before that kind of a crowd and doing your thing?
I want us to be loud. We call it Troptober. It's a different breed. It's awesome. It's so cool to as a fan, it was awesome. It is to look around and see the entire stadium packed with yellow flags waving everywhere, and it was awesome. And so I know everybody, including myself, is really excited for tomorrow to see that atmosphere.
Right here, Hazel.
Shane, when you find yourself in big moments over your baseball career, how do you keep yourself from getting too amped up? Do you have specific routines? How do you kind of slow the heartbeat down?
I think even in big situations, it goes back to whether or not you're prepared for it. Have you put in the effort? Have you put in the work? And I feel like there's a sense of calmness when you've done all you can to do to prepare for that situation. That I find a little bit of comfort and relaxation in knowing that I'm prepared for this moment. So I think a lot of the work you put in before really determines what happens on the field.
Topper.
Hey, Shane, just to kind of look back again, not as far as the other question, but just to where you were last year when you were called up. I know you probably would have been called up in September if you hadn't tweaked your knee, but to make your debut in the postseason and now to be back as a starter, just kind of how much proud of you or proud are you of what you did and maybe how that compares?
I'm trying to really, put this in words. It's because, last year there was so much uncertainty in the entire world, not just baseball. And so, to have that opportunity last year to just be a part of the team and, when honestly that many had doubts that would even be played this season. And so to be a part of that was special. And to be here, now as a starter, been a part of this team from the very beginning, essentially, it means a lot. It's exciting.
Over to Neil.
Shane, you talked about preparation. Your last start, the race shortened you up to 3 innings to help you get ready for the postseason. How much do you think that shortened start will help you in terms of enough gas in the tank for what tomorrow will bring?
They conveyed to me even before the start that it was going to be a shortened start, and obviously I have to listen to them, but I want the ball, man. Yankee Stadium was rocking, 41,000 people there. You're crazy if you don't want the ball, and so even when they took me out, I was a little upset, but I understood it. A lot bigger games in the future, but I think a little rest, at the end of the year, especially in October, is not a bad thing. So I feel pretty prepared for tomorrow, and I'm ready to go.
Back to JP.
Thanks. Shane, could you share the most powerful ways in which your parents have impacted your baseball career and certainly your life overall?
Yeah, my father's disabled. He's been disabled my entire life. And my mom was a special needs school teacher. So, there was always been that work ethic in our house of, never give up and just keep going even when things seem bad. So that's always stuck with me. Obviously, I should have done a better job in telling him that, and so it feels good to get that off my chest now. But, the hard work has virtually been instilled in me from the very beginning. To watch my dad, when I know he's not feeling well, trying to go play catch with me in the backyard. My mom gets off work from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. and she's making dinner for us and asking us about our day when we should be asking her about hers. So I think you don't take things for granted. You enjoy the moment and you work hard.
Couple more. Come over here to Adam.
Shane, how will you handle the next 24 hours or so? Are you going to all in on video and scouting reports? Do you try to unplug from that tonight? Just kind of how do you get ready for tomorrow?
Just enjoy today, man. Have a good catch play, have a good conditioning session. Make sure I'm in a good spot. Make sure I'm in a good spot today, because if I'm in a good spot today, then I know tomorrow will be okay.